The 580 Show. Let's go. The 580 Show. Let's go. The 580 Show.
All right, everyone. Welcome back to episode 135 of the 580 Show. Myself, Dante Frawley. We're back from Kentucky.
Kentucky boys.
Great weekend. Great weekend. We actually filmed a podcast, but it was before we didn't really have a good grasp of the weekend. So I figured we have time, just hop on and let's just start over. Let's talk about the whole weekend, start to finish, and kind of just highlight. We went, if you're not following along, we went to the Mid-South Strongman Corporation Regionals this past weekend. Myself in the 175s, Frank, who's a member of 580, a founding member of 580, really one of the first 3 members ever, competed at 200. We had a 231 Will, but he hurt his back. Dante moved up to the 265 since he already had a middleweight bid, and then Frawley in the super heavies. So we had 4 of the 5 classes for the male side. Like I said, it was a regional. So I guess I can just start like with me and Frank. We went down on Thursday, obviously being weight class. Dante didn't have to make weight. But
yes, he did.
Well, yeah,
I did.
Yes, he did.
I wasn't even close, dude.
He's 259.
I was 7 pounds. I was 7 pounds under when I weighed in.
He was scaring me for a little bit. But yeah, so I mean, it was crazy. The cut went unbelievably perfect for me. Where I was just a point where I was able to still eat the day before a little bit, drink water the night before, and it was just dialed in so perfectly. I usually don't ever struggle to make weight, but it was extra dialed in this time. Didn't have to go in a sauna, didn't have to go in a bath. So that really, I think, helped my performance this weekend, feeling 100%, because I didn't ever have that loopy feeling or anything like that. Frank made weight as well. And then you guys got there Friday, and we kind of all just got to check out that we checked in, got to check out the gym and just kind of hang out and relax at Airbnb all together.
Found out that Frank's really good at chess.
Yes.
Ridiculously good at chess. But if the listeners knew Frank, they would understand.
Yeah. If you knew Frank, you wouldn't think he's a good chess player, but Frank's like the hardest guy on earth to explain. It's just like, it's like not even more. It's like a whole podcast.
Yeah. You'll never meet another person like Frank.
Yeah,
right.
That's 100% true. But I mean, let's just talk about the show. So, it was ran by Davey McCain, who has ran strongman shows. I think he said it was his 16th or 17th year.
16 years. Yep.
The show. We'll talk about our performances and everything like that as we go, but I thought the show ran well. It just ran really long. And there are things that were unforeseen. Like the power stairs broke, and they're nice power stairs. It wasn't like I ever felt like, oh, this is equipment that shouldn't be at a regional show or a show at all. Not. It was just kind of like, just a freak accident. It's like
they just unhooked, I think, from each other. So they'd like re-screw them in, maybe missing a washer or something. I don't know the logistics, but
yeah. And it was just one of those things like, I'm never going to dance on anyone's grave with it. Cause like we have a nice Viking press at 580 and at our regionals, that could have been us. Like we got lucky that we were able to fix our Viking press, but that could have been us. So like, unforeseen stuff happens, and we understand that as competitors. And I think there's some things like the promoters would have changed. Also, this is this gym and the owner's first time ever hosting a comp.
So that was cool.
Which was cool. And like the guy gave a big speech to us competitors before about, like it's pretty emotional.
He was the guy at the Arnold too. He was like helping everybody at the Arnold.
Yeah. So like I said, I thought the show ran well. It was just unforeseen stuff. I think the lanes for deadlifts made deadlifts run a little bit long.
Yeah.
Deadlifts screwed up the whole flow of the show.
That was really the only thing that I would have changed would have been the deadlifts. But yeah, I mean, I understand what they were going for. And I don't really think they did it wrong say with how they wanted to run the event. But I would have liked a rising bar with set jumps.
Yeah. So, I mean, in theory, like the lanes made sense. It just took the one group took way longer than the other. For me, it sucked because I only had to take one deadlift to win my class. Like I won on my opener for deadlift. And so deadlifts took 3 hours. So I did one pull, in 3 hours and then wait for the next event, So it was boring for me, but I got to just relax and watch you guys pull. But let's start from the beginning. So first event was log clean and press for reps.
Yep.
I didn't mind the log at all. It was like I don't know what the brand was, but it looked exactly like a Pitbull log to me.
I don't know either, but
he told me the name of it. I forget.
Is it Revolution or something like that?
Something. No. I can't remember.
Yeah, me either.
But
I like the log. It was nice.
Yeah. My log, that's now that I'm like a day after and like I can reflect back on my day, the log is where I messed up. I thought Herney was 4 or 5 reps ahead of me, who was everything. One thing I really liked about the show, not to jump around too much, but everything was head to head except deadlift. So it was really, really cool to have 4 or 5 events head to head with another person in your class. Like that really does add an element for the crowd and for you as a competitor, in my opinion, of like a next level of competition where it really drives you. And we'll talk about some examples of that, but yeah, log, I should have got 1 more rep and that would have gave me a lot of points. That would have split me points and then ended up winning me the show early. But that was my big mistake. I will say, if anyone can ever teach me how to breathe with a damn log, I will be forever in debt to you, because I've watched every damn video. I've listened to every good presser. I mean, my coach is Andrew Clayton, one of the best pressers in freaking history. And I can't figure out how to breathe with a log. Like I got to my first rep and I'm like, oh shit, dude, I got to worry about not zeroing this. Cause like, it was just that overwhelming feeling like I was going to pass out.
Right.
So that's something I need to work on. But I thought I got the points I needed with 2 reps. I know I could have had a third, but I didn't because I thought something else. But so that's where I screwed up. How did log go for you guys?
It went.
I know I have better, but I struggle with navigating the first event with the warm-ups. We talked about that a little bit yesterday. I can't figure out exactly, like, my timings doesn't feel bad, but I also always end up feeling like I'm standing around for 30 minutes before the event.
You made a really good point yesterday about that. Like I haven't figured it out either yet.
Yeah.
And it's like tough. Well, you know why it's so tough is because, you go to different shows and every promoter, it's not right or wrong. Every promoter has a different flow, right?
That's true.
So some do all the warm-ups, then rules, and then you go right into the show. Some do rules, all the warm-ups, and then go into the show. Some do half warm-up, rules, half warm-up. And then like some people warm up and then like there's a break between the log. So you're like always you're always like internally debating, like, should I do another warm up? Should I pace myself more? And I always screw it up too. Like I always screw it up. So
I don't feel like I got shorted on warm ups.
No, I definitely did.
I mean, we had a very adequate. I mean, actually, another log was brought out so that the men could continue to warm up if you chose to. But I don't know. I'm having such a hard time navigating them. I mean, 3 reps is okay. I mean, the best I've ever done is 4, but I know that I'm better. I know that I can put better than that out. So I would say that's probably the one event that I wish I could have again, that I could go again on, because the other 4 I did my best or better. I mean, so that's the one that I wish I had back.
It's also so tough because overhead is always first at a comp. It's
almost always,
except almost your comp.
Always. Yeah. Well, it was first on the day that it was on.
Right.
But like that's when your nerves are your highest. And I really struggle to get my legs under me. And I'm already not a great presser comparatively. So there's nerves, because I get that first rep on an overhead and then everything, I feel great. It's like getting your first squat at a powerlifting meet. Like once you get that first squat, those lights, like you feel good.
Yep.
And then Dante saying he had a PR on log. That was a PR.
PR for the weight class, yes.
Yeah, right.
I've hit 280 2 years ago, but then I haven't really touched the heaviest log since then. And honestly, even though the log, I wasn't a big fan of the log because I'm just weird and I don't like how it threw me off when because it felt like the handles were deeper in the log. So when I went to spider, kind of like hit your arms a little bit, and it threw me off a little bit since I'm not too used to the log yet.
Yeah.
But so I had to adjust my clean a little bit. But like my log's not the best event anyways, but
that was a comp PR.
yeah, comp PR, yes. So
I mean,
I misgrooved my first one. My second one, I nailed it, and the third one, I just didn't have it. So I was happy with getting one. My goal was 1 to 2, so I hit my goal.
Like I said, Dante competes at 231, and he did 265, which ended up being an insane class at your show.
Yeah, a lot of the points. We'll get into it later too.
Yeah,
but like a lot of the stuff came down within like 2 seconds, 1 to 2 seconds.
Well, like, Allie made a really good point to me, and I thought I'm curious what you guys think, but the competition yesterday truly felt like a regional show.
Yep,
that's how the Northeast regional felt too.
Yeah, it was really cool, and I'm actually really, really optimistic now about the new regional system for Strongman Corp because I seriously think it's starting like to really take shape.
Yes,
where people are qualifying, people are learning the qualification process, I guess.
Well,
and like,
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I remember
you're good.
When the regionals first started, I think it was like PA Dutch, like everybody at the show got invited, not even like the top 3 or top 5. Like they just started handing out invites. So maybe like the first year was kind of like still kind of seeding through almost to a certain degree, which wasn't still bad because if you qualified for the regional, like if you should do that show or not half the time. But
yeah, I think it's cool now. Like you see people posting like, got my 2024 regionals bid yesterday, like at this show and this show. So it's cool. Like I'm hopeful that it keeps growing. Like I'm assuming we'll be hosting regionals again next year. So I hope it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and really turns into like that CrossFit. Don't run away, all Strongman, because CrossFit's good and they have it figured out. I hope it turns into like that CrossFit model where people are really trying to get to regionals to get to the next level. Like it becomes a competitive. I mean, I know for myself, that was the hardest I ever had to work at comp yesterday. Like I had to do we'll get into it, but I had to do a 6th event. Like, so I just thought that was a good point. It really felt competitive and no one like looked like out of place. It was like, man, that guy could win this class. That guy could win this class. That guy could win this class. Like, so yeah, that was cool. We did log, and then we went into sandbag to shoulder ladder, which was by far my best event. I hit a PR, did it in 13 seconds, which I think was the fastest out of anyone at the comp.
Yeah.
But it was just for me, it was just a perfect run.
Yeah.
Where I was just smooth. Everything was clicking. The bags are pretty light for a 4-bag medley for me. It's a good event for me.
I think they were across most classes.
Yeah. So it was a lighter event for across the board. So but yeah, great event for me. What'd you guys think of,
I'm in training, my time was like 26 seconds. And now the bags were spaced a little further apart when I did it in training. So obviously that matters. But when I hit 17.8, I think was my time, I was ecstatic, right? And then I ended up in 4th in the event, and I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Because that was by far the best sandbag shoulder run I've ever had. And now I knew the guy that I went head to head with, Bubba, we were neck and neck. So like he edged me out right at the end of the run. Right. So like, okay, I knew he beat me, but I was like, okay, maybe I'll be in a good spot and I can get second. And then like I checked the scores, I'm in 4th. I'm like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, dude.
It's just that competitive of a show.
Yeah. Dante, how about you? You're figuring out sandbags.
Yeah. Oh, still figuring it out kind of, but I have it a lot better. As many of you guys know, that sandbag shoulder is not my favorite event. Well, it wasn't my favorite event in the past. I used to do the thing where you pick it up to your chest. For some reason, I would cross face it and just take my time, just throwing it over my face, giving myself a black eye half the time. But now, after just randomly just deciding I wanted to figure it out in one training session, I kind of just got that little pop up, and I got an all-time PR for sandbag shoulder.
Figure it out.
It's kind of what happened. I got 20.87 seconds in the show. That's the fastest I've ever done like some kind of medley. And I had to go first because I got last. So I set the standard and everyone else kind of like, went after me. So they knew what number to beat. So I'm not saying that I would have done better if I went in a later spot, but I'm very happy with how I placed that event.
That was the best year sandbags have ever looked from my perspective.
100%.
Yes. I mean, I'm getting better with sandbags, rather than like messing around with them on the bottom and just kind of like picking and throwing. But I messed around a little bit. still got in my head a little bit. It's got a lot of kinks to work out, but kind of upset Sandbag Shoulder's not in nationals this year. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a good event. Ran fast. The first two events were done in like less than 2 hours.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
events.
I was like,
First two events were great. Yeah, I agree.
And then we hit deadlift. We mentioned the logistical stuff that happens. Like it happens. It sucks. We waited around a long time, but I'm sure they would change small things.
Right.
I pulled 765 on my opener. Felt great. And that's what I had to do to win. It was nice to just do one pull. Dante shot for he went for so his deadlifts look great. He went for the
I opened at 820.
Yeah, I think you went for the only 1,000-pound pull of the meet, right? Out of anyone.
I didn't need to, but like
no.
As one of my buddies messaged me too, they said that if this was any kind of competition, just kind of like do it like a YOLO lift, it would have been this one.
Yeah. Right.
All I had to do was pull, what was it, 425 kilos, and I would have got first place in the event, just due to like Wessel's rules, because that's what everyone else's third attempts were. But I decided to go for 450, which was 1,003 pounds.
Yeah,
and
you did break it. You did break it off the ground.
I broke it off the ground twice, yes. But I'm not saying I would have pulled it with baby powder. But some people mentioned that maybe baby powder on the legs would have helped it slide up a little more, because that seems to be
when
where
he says
it
some
stopped.
people,
Right
when he says some people, I told him to put baby powder on, and he told me.
And Julia, so like
it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah. So like I don't know. I'm not saying it would have helped me a lot, but like, when's the next time I'm ever gonna figure out if I'm gonna like pull 1,000 pounds or attempt to pull 1,000 pounds?
Yeah. I won an 18-inch max at the Arnold so bad one year. God,
it's a good event because it's especially the spectators that don't understand that 18 inch isn't like
it's cheating.
Yeah, it's cheating. So like they see like Josh Hendrickson pulling 1,000 pounds. They're like, look at this little shrimp pulling 1,000 pounds.
My thing is I know I'm a good for 1,000 pounds on 18-inch.
Would you pull more than me, Josh? I know Frawley was trying to chirp me about that.
On 18-inch yesterday, I was good for over 1,000.
Okay,
I think that.
I believe it too. You're my friend. I believe you.
Well, I only have to move it 4 inches, but that setup yesterday was the easiest 18-inch setup I've ever felt.
Yeah,
like it was so much harder than the one last summer at Strongman, and I pulled 920 on that.
Did you use the kilo plates or no?
No, we just, and that's the other thing. My plates were stacked all the way to the end, so I was getting even more width.
Yeah, to pull 1,000, you would have had to pull 1,000.
I would have had to move on the I would have had to move the cal, but they're still stacked out. Like I still would have had a lot of width.
I don't know, dude. It was like I don't know. Maybe if I pulled on plates, I would have pulled it. You never know.
Yeah, maybe. And Frawley had a great third. What'd you hit on your third, Frawley?
909.
Hell yeah. Frawley got second.
That was literally like the turning point of the show for me. Big time was going into the show. I didn't think there was any world that I would have been competitive on the deadlifts, but I kind of played it like conservative on my first two a little bit, because in training I hit 850 or 855, and it was like tough, but like not RPE 8,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I knew my second was going to be right around there, so I went 860 on my second, and then I actually looked, like I played a little gamesmanship to see where everybody was going, and I just took the next jump up from somebody else. Yeah. And hope that the guys would miss and see where that would land. And the one guy did end up missing, and the other guy didn't. So the guy that got the win obviously got his third. But that 909 got me good for second place, and that's where I really was like, I'm back in this thing. So
that was kind of weird about the thing, because normally with rising bars, you can kind of see where everyone's jumping in or not. And the only way you can really see someone's second or third attempt is like if you go after them, and then you can see the scoreboard as you're putting yours in. So I'm not saying you're like cheating or anything, because that's how that rules was. But normally you'll be able to see like who comes up to the bar and like, oh, I should skip this and try to trump them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The only gripe I had was it was publicized as 45 and 25-pound jumps. Yeah. And then in rules we threw that out where it was just whatever attempts you wanted. So I think that's kind of part of the reason it took forever too, because you just kind of have people chipping each other.
Yeah.
And like
it's probably like the plate issue. They didn't have enough plates to pull like higher numbers, so you had to kind of go with the kilos, and it's harder to make jumps with kilos, I guess. I don't know. I'm not justifying or saying it, but we're just speculating.
Yeah, it's fine. So we did deadlifts, and then we did power stairs. Power stairs were light, even with the rise, and they raised the weights 2 weeks out, and then it was honestly light. It was probably too light because
Yeah.
you look at my class, for example, like we had 4 guys. The top 3 in my class were like, was 20, 21.7, 21.9, 22.1.
Yeah.
So that's just human error.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Like you don't want, I
You
don't
need
want
some real separation. No one should want that as a
Yeah.
competitor. I mean, you need real separation in the events.
Yeah.
And honestly, even the sandbag to shoulder was the same way. Like in my class, I think the top guy was 15 seconds. I took 4th and it was 17.8.
Yep.
So like that's
Yeah.
just that, and that's
always
4 places. I mean,
it always sucks to be the guy on the tail end of like the 10th of a second
yes.
loss.
Yep.
And
Absolutely.
it's like, dude, my person could have just been asleep at the wheel and not stopped it at the same rate the other. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Like, but hey, that's strongman, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Watching my event, first off, it was really fun to do power stairs on like a big
Yeah, it
implement.
was.
It was my first
That was
time
a
I ever
fun
got to do
event.
it. I want
Yeah.
that in more shows.
Yeah.
Like, I want that in more shows. I had a really good time doing it. Watching my event, the only thing that I think I screwed up on is my very first implement. I didn't go full bore back down. Like I took an extra half second and it cost me the difference between first and second in that event.
That matters. Yeah.
It's experience at this point, though. It's the first time he did an actual show.
I mean, but you know, like, dude, you can look at it and you can pick apart your performance all day. I'm happy with how I did.
Right.
You know, you can always find something that you wish you could have done better.
Right.
But what did you guys think of power stairs?
I loved it. It was awesome, man.
Yeah,
and it was like it was cool. I took second in that event, so I was happy. I didn't know I was good at power stairs.
Apparently, you missed first by.
I missed first by it was 1.01 seconds.
Yeah.
So what was cool though was you could hear your competitor, like the guy across. You could hear the weight hit the step,
and then you could see him too. Like you could kind of see
him.
Yeah.
I heard the weight hit the step. I'm like, I gotta go. Like, because it was on the 3rd implement that I really noticed it, and it was right as I picked mine up, I heard it hit the step, and it's motivating. Like it puts that pressure on in the head to head, like you said, like you gotta go right now. Like there's no time to wait, and there's no time to think about it either, right? Like your brain's got to be off, and you just got to go.
Yeah, Dante,
I liked it. I didn't really think about at the very top. I like had to kick it a little bit with my leg to actually get it fully across. I treated it as like my first couple steps, just get up a little bit, then jump and go up. So at least I know in the feature now that that's just going to take like 1 or 2 seconds for trying to kick it around. I still had a fairly good time, I thought, but I figured if I fix those errors, especially for nationals, it would definitely shave a lot of time off.
Yeah, I think your biggest thing is transitions.
That's true too. Like my urgency is getting better, and my transitions are getting better. It's just these competitions are helping me like practice that. I've always been one of those guys that like a little bit lazy and lackadaisical with transitions and stuff, but actually getting to the level that I'm at, and I'm realizing like what I have to do to get better. It's like that's why I'm putting myself in these situations, so it helps. But I think we're figuring it out.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Transitions made the difference in that event.
That's true. Yeah.
100%.
When the times are that close, you going up and down the steps is what made the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then so then the fifth and final event was, what was it? Oh,
sandbag over bar. Well, not final event for you, but we'll talk.
Yeah, we'll get into that. But the 5th event of the day for everyone was sandbag load over bar. A usually event I would love. I made it. I really should have, as a competitor, said these plates are in my way. They're in the way for both people. Like when you load it over yoke, they put those 45s on there to weigh it down. And I loaded my sandbag long way. So as soon as they said go, I really fumbled it, and I couldn't. It was really hard the way I loaded it to get my hands under it because the plates, 45-pound plates, were in my way. It was like that for everyone, so I can't complain. Like the guy that I was going with so at that point I was 1 point in the lead, and I was going with the guy that was in second, Herney, and whoever. If I won that event, I won the show. If he won and I got second, we tied. So he beat me by 1 rep. I got second. And yeah, I mean, usually a good event for me, small fumble. And that was just a mistake on my end at the beginning. I would have rolled it back into my feet if I could do it again. That's probably my most disappointing event of the day. But yeah, what'd you guys, that was Frawley's best event, probably.
I won that event. The only one I won. Yeah, it was, I knew I had done 5 in training, and it was a pretty casual 5. So I was really hoping like I mean, again, we had our whole 2-week prep after the Northeast Regional. So when I say training, it was very limited, but we've done that event before. So did that event at the regional last year for Battle at the Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew it was a good event for me. And I just really wanted to worry about like being consistent and just worrying about getting good loads. But I needed to beat the guy that was in front of me. So I was a half a point off the podium and I needed to beat him. And I didn't know like what to expect. So I knew I was good for about 5. I was hoping 6, 7 would be like the perfect day, right? And I came around and my judge was awesome because he really communicated to me. He was telling me while I was going, hey, yeah, he's like, one more and you're tied for the lead. One more and you take the lead. Like he's telling me that as I'm competing, which I greatly appreciated that because it made me really like keep that in mind. So I got the 6th load with about 15 seconds left. And I was like, all right, get around this bar and just don't screw it up.
Yeah.
So I picked it and loaded it. And then that actually got me into the podium. But the guy in second actually didn't do so well in the final event, and it bumped me into second place. So that was pretty exciting, and I was really fired up about that. I was just fired up because I knew I needed to beat the guy I was going head to head with, and that was my goal was to get to nationals. So that put me on the podium, but then I ended up squeaking into second. So I was thrilled about that.
Heck yeah. What about you, Dante?
I liked it. It showed me that I'm able to, handle loads a lot better than I have in the past. I've always been good at sandbag over bar, but my goal for this show is 3 to 4 reps. I got 4. On the 5th one, I started a little too far back, I think, and I just kind of like walked up and like pressed it against the bar, and I just wasted too much time and energy trying to flip it over. Then by the time I got it down and tried again, it just was too late. So I was already in last place at the time. I just got 4 reps. Simple as that. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with that. And plus, it was a 308 bag, not 300. I think it said 309 podium, which is not complaining because we use that in training. But
yeah,
I'm happy with it. I'm happy with my loads. I figured it pretty much right around 5. So
yeah,
I mean, your placing wasn't great to finish the day, but like how you performed was good.
yeah,
Like you performed well.
Like, yeah, I'm upset I got last place, but at the same time, I hit like comp PRs. I did better at events that I've done in the past. So, and like I said, I'm not saying it was like just for yellow meat because I definitely wanted to be competitive today.
Right.
But I'm just happy with my performance, regardless of the placing.
Yeah.
Will I do 265 again? I'll never know. But I'll definitely take the competition a little more. Try to do more than a 2-week prep or anything.
Yeah.
But so then everyone was done. And we were informed the tiebreaker was a count back, which that's a different story. I think that should be out of strongman. But the count back, luckily, Herney Pena, the other guy that was tied with me for first after 5 events, we tied in count back because we both won 2 events. So that I was glad about that because I didn't want someone to get an Arnold bid on a count back because I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
So it was decided by the promoter that the tiebreaker was a 375 because that was the heaviest power stair implement of the day. A 375 power stair, double overhand, like head to head, looking at each other, hold for time. That was a tiebreaker. After event 5, I had never felt more down, like just depleted, just a long day sitting around. Had to kind of get it together for the last event. 6th event happened. I won. And so I got my Arnold invite. So that was a perfect day for me. I wish I would have won in 5 events, but man, the guy in my class, Herney, all the guys in my class, we really pushed each other, and it was just crazy. It was a crazy back and forth day. And yeah, I kind of snapped during
you went full David Goggins. You don't know me, son. you went straight David Goggins, dude.
And I immediately gave Herney a hug after I had won the event. And I made sure I told him, like, I 100% wasn't trying to showboat during that event. Like, I was so flat. I was just like, I needed something. And that was just how I was motivating myself. Like, I don't remember anything I said in the.
You said nothing like jabbing anybody or anything. You're just like, I'm going to hold this.
I was holding it as long as I could. And I just, like, mentally, I was just trying to fire myself up, and I was just screaming random stuff at the crowd.
Yeah, us as friends stuff and training partners, and we know that you're not talking shit on anybody.
Yeah, and I told him, and I think my competitors understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We do that stuff at the gym all the time. It's just funny to see it come out.
Sometimes you just gotta
come out of competition.
Yeah.
I know. It's like we're just like it's like kind of like the inside jokes when they go out in like public and everyone's kind of like, "What the heck's going on?"
Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you just gotta really, really pull from that well. It's like, dude, I was it was an Arnold bid. Whoever held that thing the longest was getting their invite to the Arnold. And my goal is to not do nationals this year and get to just get stronger and train and get healthy. So it really meant a lot to me because that's the reason I was going, and that was my goal. Obviously, your goal is to win.
Right.
So being able to win that event, it was good. I was really, really happy. And like I said, if anyone sees the video, check out our YouTube channel this week because we'll be releasing our
try to release it for Wednesday.
Yeah, we'll release it sometime this week. I don't want Dante to have to rush it because there's a lot of footage and stuff. But
can't rush perfection.
Yeah, but if you see it, I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm not trying to be a showboat. Like it was just I was self-motivating myself. And you can see, like, right after the event, like me and my competitor hug. We were very cordial all day. Like it's someone I've competed with in the past who I respect. So it was just, me firing myself up. So
I'm gonna have to edit the video to make it look like you're just being a dick and like
you can put subtitles so people can know what I'm saying during the little hold thing. Yeah. But we held it. He dropped it at like 147. So it was it was the craziest I've ever been pushed. I couldn't open my hands for like 20 minutes after. Like I had the craziest forearm pump ever. It was like such a crazy push. So yeah, but was able to get away with the win. And yeah.
You guys got some cool helmets.
Yeah, we had it was the
probably
weirdest,
put it on.
It was the weirdest
in my truck.
Mine's on the front desk of 580 barbell. So anyone that's a member, the gladiator helmet's just on our front desk. That's
I'll put mine there too.
Yeah, it's just they're cool trophies. They're like literal gladiator helmets. I don't know why. Like it has nothing to do with the show, but it's awesome.
Dude, that's the
cool thing. They were cool.
Yeah, they are cool. My dad loves it.
You know what I'm saying about strongman and stuff? It's so cool to get like weapon trophies or like helmet trophies or armor. Like bodybuilders get that all the time. Like bodybuilders are all show no go. Like imagine like strongman's all about like being a Viking and stuff. We got to bring back weapons as trophies. That's what I want to see more.
Yeah,
I want to win a freaking battle axe. What's wrong with wanting a battle axe?
No, it was cool. But overall, great day. I really love trips like that just because like we've all become such good friends. Like get to travel. It's like a little mini vacation thing, but like we're doing something we like to do.
Yeah, the drive wasn't that bad. I thought it would be a lot worse.
The drive home was worse than the drive there.
I'm glad we stopped in Columbus halfway. I'm glad.
Yeah. 6 hours, a little over 6 hours.
Yeah, if Josh didn't hold the dang thing for 2 hours, we would have made it home in time Saturday night. But
he was holding it till 10 p.m. He said,
"Yeah, he did."
I could have.
I'll hold it till 10 p.m.
Yeah, in the video, it's funny. You can hear Allie like a mother. She yells, "Pay attention!" Like she yelled at me to pay attention because I was like yelling.
Dude, you were stressing me out with all that shit.
That's what everyone said. I mean, honestly, it could have backfired on me. Like if I would have dropped,
literally, I'm like this.
He's squeezing so hard, he's shaking. It's like you're like, oh no, because normally when we see people shake, they're gonna drop it, but
nope.
Josh was getting fired up.
It was a fun trip, though. I'm glad we went.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Farley almost didn't go. Remember?
Yeah, no, that's the crazy part. Is I was so after competitions, I always just get I'm like I'm done with strongman. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. I don't even want to be on a podcast this week. Don't talk to me. And then a couple days went by and I was like, all right, you know what? Like I've had some time to like settle down a little bit because it is stressful when you go through the events for like a full day of events. And then for the Northeast regional, it was 2 days of events. So you have so much mental energy invested in that. And it just, when it's done, it's just like, I don't even want to think about it anymore. But, yeah, I mean, I had so much fun competing at this event. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, the organization wasn't it could have been better with the deadlift is what I'm specifically thinking of. But the actual head-to-head competition in each event was really exciting as a competitor. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. It was the gym that hosted it. It was their first time hosting a comp. So like, I'm sure it's just ironing out details and stuff like that. You know? Yep. So But yeah, it was a great day, great weekend. It's always just fun. Like it's a really fun trip and just makes you like remember like I do love strongman and like just competing in something like it's fun, you know. So I had a great day. And yeah, Frank also, we didn't even really say it, but Frank qualified for the Arnold as well. So we got 2 Arnold qualifiers this weekend. So the 175 and 200. Frank had 3 guys in his class. One didn't make weight. And then the other one tore his bicep on the first event.
Mm-hmm. That sucks.
So it's like, it's not how Frank wanted to win.
No,
I'm sure, but he did a great job. He did a great job of still competing all day amongst himself and, you know, trying to hold himself to like the 231 guys, like to try to keep up with them. So, yeah, we're hoping
he still completed all 5 events. I mean, he didn't the deadlift. He probably could.
Yeah,
he probably could have done a little more, but we know that he's not a great deadlifter anyway. So if we're being honest, he probably wasn't that far from his max anyway.
Yeah. But
what's next? What's next? We got nationals, right?
Yeah, we're gonna be talking about last year we picked up a lot of listeners in the 2022 nationals. Like as we get closer, we started to highlight it, you know.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are 10 weeks out, right?
No, it's more than that.
Or no, it's 10 weeks out from I'm sorry. It's 10 weeks from the deadlift championship. 10 weeks is the week after the deadlift championship. Mm-hmm. August 7th marks like the 10-week out period.
Can't wait for another 2-week prep for the deadlift championship.
So yeah.
And
we're gonna be highlighting like these guys' journeys because we have a lot of members doing nationals. I might be a head judge at nationals. Actually, I was approached and asked to do that, so we'll see if I'm gonna be or not. But we're gonna have a lot of 580 members there, so we'll be kind of like every week probably we'll touch on nationals a little bit. I thought it was really cool last year at the banquet. You know, people said it was cool to kind of follow along other guys just talking about their journey to nationals, you know. So we'll do that again this year. In 2 weeks, we have 3 weeks, 2 weeks, whatever, the 580 deadlift championships. You can sign up on Iron Podium. There's not really a deadline, so just sign up. $25, come max your deadlift, really any stance, any style, whatever. It's gonna be a really fun day. And then I'm sure we'll be talking about other shows and stuff like that along the way. So,
and I will say, I think we have like 8 members of 580 that qualified for nationals so far this year.
Yeah.
And last year we had like a fraction of that. So it's like there's still plenty of time. So
there was 4 of us.
Whether all 8 of them actually do it or not, it's still cool to see that many people qualify from our gym.
Us 3, Allie, Julia, John Caraway, Frank,
Liam Fodor, I think.
Liam. That's 8 already.
And there are tons of guys that come to guys and girls that come to the gym that are qualified. So
yeah.
Friends and family of 580.
Before nationals, we'll probably have about 10 people qualify for nationals, which is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I think that's all I got for this week. I appreciate everyone listening. And we will talk to you guys next week for episode 136. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. Thanks.